Well, welcome to Family Matters. This is the Sunday edition, of course, being the 4th of February 2018, and we're talking about Uncomplicated Love. Some of these people are in love with football. I'm also in a very good relationship with God. So we can continue with this conversation over and over again. And I see you've started sending in questions on our SMS line 22162, and of course on Twitter, the hashtag is Family Matters. At Kioria at Pastor Danson. And Pastor Danson has been away for the better part of January. Yeah. Actually, the entire January. Because he was away in Mombasa on pastoral duties, but then he's back. Thank you very much, Pasi, for joining us.
I'm glad to be back.
Yes.
Yes, I've missed you.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah? So, Valentine is upcoming.
Yes.
It's good. I see you're in red already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, mine is not.
And this month is a very expensive month for me. It's my wife's birthday on Tuesday. Valentine's Day, and my son's birthday on the 16th.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All in one month.
All in one month. Yes.
How would you survive? Sorry though.
Yeah.
We're going to make it. Anyway, let's talk about uncomplicated love. And of course, before we even get to the ideas of today and how to do it, first of all, for the last 2 Sundays I've had, cases of domestic violence. And we've been handling the conversation on domestic violence every Sunday, and for the last 2 Sundays. And what keeps rocking my mind, and I try to tie my mind around this but still can't get it, why can people who claim to have loved each other for years, as many as 10, all of a sudden turn on each other, and it ends up tragically where one of them is dead or all of them are dead?
You see, as I said before, and I've been saying it over and over again, love is not the foundation of a good marriage. Wisdom is. And what we have, domestic violence is a byproduct of, in my perspective, 3 things. First is the way people have been brought up, the way we have been cultured. If someone grows up in a family where there is a lot of violence, violence is what they understand. If it is a girl who grows up seeing the mother being beaten up, if she gets around somebody who is courteous, who is chivalrous, the person feels as though the person is a terrorist of kindness. So you find that people have a way of finding comfort based on where they were brought up. And one of the ways that you can interject that process so that you don't marry somebody who's like your father or somebody who's worse than your father is that you have to get another couple who are older, and they introduce to you, they dilute that particular image that you have. The other thing that I've realized is because most of the time when we test love, we don't test it from ourselves. But the first time we have an experience with love, we have it from strangers. So love is actually a very strange emotion that we have. When we were young, we used to write letters. I was thinking about it the other day. I was thinking about these youngsters, man, they are duped where love is concerned. Because yeah, because, people are communicating love to them with the emojis and these short hand texting and things like that.
Yeah, like
you can imagine, in our days, we were very thorough. We would dig through a dictionary, come up with very serious, you remember those bombastic lyrics?
Yes. My love is like the sun on the sandy beaches of Mombasa.
Yes, and I'm sorry to say, some of the teenagers, by the way, will not have an experience of love the way their mothers were experiencing in terms of communication.
Yes.
But there is a problem. Even during our teenage days, the first person that told us that they loved us, especially in our generation, was actually a stranger, not a parent. Parents would love you, but by providing and by beating you up very well when you,
There are no words of affirmation.
So we end up having this close emotion from a stranger. And that is the reason as to why we end up making decisions that are very strange where love is concerned. My estimation is you need to get to a place where you can love yourself. Because if you love yourself, then you're very cautious about what you admit and what you don't admit into your space. Like today I was just sharing with you, I've been married now for a while, and I've not had drama in my marriage. I was warned by very many people that there would be drama.
Yes.
And I've been waiting for it by there for a while. I have really, really been waiting.
And Mrs. is listening. Are you saying you're waiting for drama? You want the drama?
No, I don't want the drama.
Okay.
Yes. But you see, I'd already gone through a phase where I understood about personal love, and I had some principles that I wouldn't admit. For men specifically, violence is first verbal before it becomes physical. And so there are particular boundaries that will not be crossed verbally. And you see, when you're in a violent relationship with someone, you'll be able to notice it, because it starts out by verbal threats and then it progresses to an action of aggression. Either something is thrown, something is broken, you know, such kind of things. They are just preludes to the acts of violence. Now, we have, I said some time back, I said, I have more girlfriends who have been beaten up, stories of girlfriends who have been beaten up by boyfriends than wives who have been beaten up by husbands. And it's because there's that culture of, we don't love ourselves. So we admit all manner of garbage. And for me, I say, if somebody slaps you, that should be the last time that they see your face.
If they slap you, go.
Yeah, if they slap you, pack and leave. You don't have to stay. But now we have a society where people have had too much sex. Sex is very confusing. Because it is a bonding emotion. So you find people who are there for a long period of time. If you try to check out, it is what I call sausage manenos. And a friend of mine said something. And a friend of mine says something very powerful. He said, "Don't keep a pig if its only profit is a sausage." And sometimes you keep a pig in our house because you are profiting from the sausage. It is important for you to be honest. If you're in a violent relationship, why are you staying there? Yeah, and you can't say it's because of the children, because now you're introducing children into a culture of violence. Actually, if you have children, it is more advisable for you to leave. It's not advisable for you to stay, because now you're bringing up children to in a culture that normalizes violence. And that way, when they grow up, they become either violent wives or they become very violent husbands. And I can tell you of a fact, I have received many phone calls from people who are watching, men who have been beaten by their wives.
It happens.
It happens, yes.
It happens a lot.
And I don't understand that. That cannot happen in my house. I can tell you that of a fact.
Mrs. Akikuchapa, what will you do?
Hey, you know what we did? You know, the Bible says this. It says, a man must rule his house well. There is a qualification of a bishop and a pastor. You have to rule your house well before you rule the house of God. And that told me something. It told me that as a man, I am not a convener of marriage. I am a ruler in marriage. Yeah, my authority in my marriage is unchallenged.
All right. Let's get to to the other subject, because obviously on domestic violence, like you say, love yourself enough to know that once a person gets violent, once just get out and go. Now this other aspect of, and I was doing a random talk with some of my colleagues in the office, and we were talking about the subject today. And there appears to be a form of unanimity that love doesn't exist anymore. Love is a foreign word.
It's because of the way people have approached it. You know, people get into relationships having too many demands. And we have a culture which demands a lot from the institution of love, whether it is relationship or marriage. But they have no capacity to build it. One of the things that I tell people before they get married is that marriage is an empty institution. It is not what you find in the marriage that builds the marriage. It is what you put into the marriage that makes the marriage. So when you listen to most of the people, and I think I will do a show one of these fine times, or one of these fine days, talking about the standards, because there are too many people who have these pseudo standards that are keeping very many girls single, very pretty girls, and when you listen to them, they're just full of air. There are standards that are not for a man. They are not looking for a husband. They are looking for a savior. Because truth of the matter is this. No, don't, and I'm ready to justify my case.
They're full of air.
Yeah, it's just full of air. Because there are particular things, especially when people approach you. People don't like, love and pride are two invincible factors. When somebody approaches you, it will be the wrong thing for you to respond to them with pride and arrogance. Because then you're telling them that you're doing them a favor to love them. And love is not a favor. You're not doing anybody a favor to love them. So there are these particular standards that people have that don't make sense. Like, for example, marriage is not for perfect people. I'm not perfect. My wife is not perfect. No one is perfect. Marriage is for mature people. Maturity is that capacity for you to accommodate the weaknesses of a person. No matter who you want to fly with, you have to make room for luggage. Everybody has luggage. When you say I do to a person, you're not just saying I do to the pretty face. You're saying I do to the luggage that pretty face comes carrying. So,
but some of them have luggage beyond the ones that is allowed in a craft.
Yes, and that is why dating is important, so that you're able to investigate what kind of a luggage the person is bringing in. And if you can't handle that luggage, it is important for you to stay away. Like for me, I don't like people who are verbally very aggressive. And so that is something which I was very careful about when I was deciding on who to get married to. I wanted somebody who, even if they are angry, they have a way of packaging what they say. And that is what I got. So, yes. And I was very strict about it, by the way.
You're lucky.
Yeah. So it is important for people to understand that for you to have love in marriage, it is not so much about what you find. And that is where the disappointment is. We have all these ideas about love. We have all these ideas about romance. We have all these ideas about marriage. And all of them are telling you, hey, come into this marriage and you're going to be happy. I think some time back I said this. If you're looking for a spouse who's going to make you happy, you are looking for a clown and a comedian. That is why most of the marriages are a joke.
Just go back. Rewind.
Yes, if you are looking for a spouse who makes you happy, you're looking for a clown or a comedian. That is the reason as to why most of the marriages are a joke. Love and marriage is not for making people happy. Happiness is not something that you find in marriage. It is something that you bring in marriage. It is very difficult to try to entertain somebody who is not happy in marriage. Because that happiness is something that they ought to bring. It's not something that they ought to demand. And that happiness is found in what they do, in their career paths and things like that. That is what they bring into marriage. So stop clowning.
If you're looking for somebody to make you happy, you're looking for a comedian or a clown. Take home, right there. So let's get to the issues of love and talk about love in entirety.
Today I came with a notebook, by the way. My wife bought me a very beautiful notebook. I love paper and pen, much more than technology. And my wife got me a very good notebook. So today I said I'm going to use it in honor of her. Yes. I have read too much, many things about love, and I've seen people describing love in different ways. And today I want to talk about love has 6 shades. And there are 6 shades of love. Most of us are within 2 or 3 shades of that. Now, so the first shade of love is the romantic shade, which has a lot of sexual energy.
It's the favorite.
Yeah, for men, that is the favorite.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, men are wild creatures.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have that passionate aspect, and we have that the sexual energy and attraction. The second shade is the one for best friends, and that is where I think that is where love should settle. Love does not decrease into friendship. It actually graduates into friendship. I will explain that as we continue. So there is that best friend where there is fondness, where there is openness. We are talking about open relationship. This is not the kind of openness that we are talking about. And maybe I can say this. A friend of mine, by the way, posted one time. He said he's an open relationship with this particular girl. Let me tell you, we laughed. He called me and said, do you know what it means to be in an open relationship? He says, he thought probably just this relationship was secret, and now we have decided to make it public, so it is open now to the public. Yeah, but open relationship on Facebook means that there is no exclusivity. The two of you are seeing each other, but you can see anyone else. And I think that is just madness and complication.
It's Kabasa's idea.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that. If there is no exclusivity, then there is no love. Yeah. Just forget about it, yes.
Okay, Kabasa, your question answered.
Yeah.
Get out of that.
Then the other one is logical, which is where men dwell. Most of the time when a man talks, he talks about his career, about the toys that he enjoys driving and playing around with. And men are very logical in the way they love. And that's why sometimes when they're arguing, this is very beautiful, but when I'll be sharing about loving a man, you have to learn to love a man intellectually. There is an intelligence of love. There is a way that you love a man, and you don't just love him, emotionally. You have to meet him at the place of intelligence. Otherwise, he will get bored. He will consider you to be just a
minion.
Yes, and that is not good. So the other one is possessive. There are people who play games just to see whether you can get jealous or not. That is how they understand love. Yeah, so they will make sure that somebody says something nice in your presence, and then they are checking to see whether you will respond or not. So if you are stable like a mountain and you don't notice, then they are offended. They say, this man does not love me because he's not jealous. There are people who are just like that. They like provoking jealousy. Then the other one is the selfless, where people sacrifice, where people nurture, where people build each other. That is the 6th shade of love. Now, as a provoking jealousy. Then the other one is the selfless, where people sacrifice, where people nurture, where people build each other. That is the 6th shade of love. Now, as a person, you have either 3 or 2 of that. Yes. Now, when you're dealing with matters to do with love, most of the time love begins with a lot of admiration. You know, you are so besotted by your object of affection. And what happens is, then after a while you notice that that attraction seems to be going down. What you don't understand is that love progresses from passion to companionship. So most of the time, but it says it takes about 2 years. That's why you find somebody who has dated beyond 2 years, that love has some substance in it. Yeah, and I know people who have never dated past a month. Like every month they have a new boyfriend or girlfriend, you know. So I don't know what their problem is, but it is important for you to allow your love. Yes, it is important for you to allow your love to metamorphosize from just passion into companionship, because it is important for you to bring that person to a place where the two of you can do the business of life together. Yes. So when that happens, don't be afraid. If you notice that the passion is decreasing, whether you, let's say probably you've been married for a while and the passion is decreasing, passion is a hormonal issue. It is a drug issue. And there are ways through which you get that high again. One of the ways you get that high is to go to places that you love, new places, do new things with your spouse, you know, create memories. That is my favorite part of marriage, by the way. Go to places, you know, do things together, so that when you remember a particular place, you remember your wife in terms of that particular place. So it's important for you when you're married to create memories.
I'm telling you the questions that are coming.
They are coming in plenty. Okay, then we can do quickly. How to love a man.
How to love a man, and even a woman, we can do quickly.
We can do, yes. Okay. How to love a man. The first thing that we need to know about to love a man is that you must love yourself. Men are very cautious about women who are very vulnerable. You look like a project, not like a lover. When you don't love yourself, he will notice. You'll become too needy because you need him to fix something in you. So the first way for you to love a man is that you must learn to love yourself. Loving yourself gives you a balance in terms of your character. It gives you a balance in such a way that you do the things that you love, but yet you make space for him. Because when a man is attracted to you, he's attracted to you as an individual. And there are things that he notices about you when you're single that he wants to be part and parcel of. So if he gets into a relationship with you, then you relinquish that so that you can be with him, then you lose that X factor. And the man gets bored and gets somebody else who has still retained that. So for people who are single, I want to say this. Learn, especially for girls, but then when girls fall in love, I don't know what happens. They just change, they forget about some of their friends.
They let the guard down.
Yeah, they let the guard down. It is important for you to retain your individuality, because the essence of your attractiveness is your individuality. Your individuality is your capital in that particular relationship. That is what you invest as capital. Once you lose it, you have no footing in that particular relationship. And a man who's serious about loving you will also be very cautious about the fact that you don't love yourself or you're losing that particular individuality. So it is important for you, especially when you've married for a while, it is important for you to ask your spouse, what is it that you love? If I was not there, what is it that you will do? What is it that makes you come alive? You know, and then help the person do those things so that they don't lose their individuality because they are with you. So that is the first thing. The second thing is that you can't mother a man. Men don't come to women to get commands, they come to women to get companionship. If you assume the position of a mother, you lose all the privileges of a lover. A man does not get into a relationship so that you can tell him what to do. He gets into a relationship so that you can help him do what he's doing. So when you find yourself in a place where you're too opinionated, you are always giving unsolicited advice, the man will get tired of you because he is not looking for a mother. He already has one. And one of the major mistakes for women who love, who are nurturers, they can get into that tendency where you are smothering the man too much. So he gets tired and he says, you know what, I need to go to a place where I'm respected. Because when you assume that particular position, you disrespect him. And also, the way to love a man is also to learn to listen to a man. You see, John Jacob, when you talk to a woman, and you say, I have something to tell you, most often than not, you have already thought about that particular thing for a long period of time. Women, when they talk while they are processing their thoughts. For a man, he processes the thoughts, then presents them. So when a man shows up and presents his thoughts, he is not expecting for a woman to do a rebuttal quickly. When you give a vision or an opinion or something, or to a woman, whatever it is that you're giving, as a content of your thoughts, once you give it to a woman, it is important for the woman to understand that that thing comes from a very deep place. It is not shallow. If she responds too quickly to it, she insults your intelligence. She says, what you took weeks to think about, I can give you a response in seconds, so I'm wiser than you.
Wow, I didn't know men are this complicated.
No, it is important when you are responding to a man, take time to think through what he has told you, because he has thought. That is why I said men are very logical. Take time to think through what the man has been thinking about. Don't just be too quick to give unsolicited advice. That is good, eh?
Yes.
Okay, the other one is count your blessings. I've already talked about this. Count your blessings. You see, don't compare yourself with the man next door. Every relationship is a journey. Prosperity is a journey, it's not an event. So when you get into a relationship, your relationship has a particular path that is going through. It is important for you as a woman to learn to recount the few things that have been happening when you're together, the few progresses that you are enjoying, because that inspires a man. But when you start comparing him with so-and-so, you know, he gets to a place where he gets tired because he doesn't feel like he's celebrated. Yeah, and before long, he looks for somebody who celebrates him, not somebody who is always reminding him that he's a failure.
Maybe these are the problems that are causing domestic violence as it is right now.
Yeah, there could be. There could be. Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of could be. I think it is because
it makes
most of the times in noble homes, what you find is that women are talkers and the ones, you know, responding to husbands and trying to reduce them, you know, into like the decision you've made. It's plain stupid.
Yeah. And what happens is the man he just shuts down. He looks for somebody else to tell, because a man will find somebody to tell, whether his mother or his clandestine. But he will find you look for a clandestine, and it is important for a woman to know, you know, when you are relating with a man is not another girlfriend. There are ways that men are wired by God. And one of the ways is that you have to be very cautious, especially when a man gives you a project. When he comes and says, this is what I want to do. Don't be too quick to criticize it. And he might go ahead and prove you wrong. And when he proves you wrong, whatever it is that he gets as a reward for that kind of a risk or an investment, most often than not, he will hide it. You know, there are a lot of money that is unreclaimed. That's what the government says. And you know what happened is that most of the men would rather conceal their prosperity from their wives, because their wives are more critiques than companions. And it is not good for you to get into a place where the man has to hide what he's making from you, because every time he tells you something, you know, you just shoot him down. You should
Don't mother him.
Don't mother him.
Meet him at his point of intelligence.
Yes, meet him at the point of intelligence. Yes. And then also learn to count your blessings. If you can learn to celebrate the process of the process that a man is making, he associates you with his progress. But if you criticize it, he will look for somebody else that he will work with. Give him space. This is the one that I love. Space. Yes. Women are talkers. Men like being in silence. That's the way I am. That is the way you are. That is the way every man is. Every man requires space. We call it a nothing box, and it is very sacred. It is not even marriageable. When you marry a man, that space there, that one did not. You did not partake in the vows. Yes. So you have to allow him to go into that particular place. That is a place where he feels like a man. He requires that particular piece. And one of the things that I learned from my mother is such an extraordinary woman. When we were young, my mom would make sure when our dad comes, she would send us out of the house. And my dad was a military man. He's retired now. And he will take his military beret and put it on his face like this and just relax for a whole hour. The children will be away. We didn't know why. And my mom would do it religiously. Then when my dad wakes up, we'd find tea and some mandazis. Then he would ask, now watoto wako wapi? Then we'd be called back in. What I didn't know then is that it was very, very important for my dad to unwind. You see, when women just meet a man with bills, the man walks into the house and you have a list, a litany of what he has not done and this thing and that. You chase him away. It is important for you to make room for the man to be in his space and allow him to be in that space until he refreshes up, and then he comes back and is ready now to have a conversation.
Give him space. Don't bombard him.
If you mess around that space, he will pull you into the space, assess you, how profitable you are to that space, and kick you out. So it is important for you to respect that.
Wow.
Space. The other one is be reciprocal. Men don't like giving too much in a relationship that doesn't give back.
Quid pro quo.
Yes. You must be very passionate. You must meet him at the intensity of his passion. That is why we say Kifo Amende should die. Yes, you have to find a way of loving your man. It doesn't, you know, and if you're in a relationship with a woman who just waits, you have to initiate everything. After a while, it just gets boring. You just sit down and you think, man, can't I just get a Delilah somewhere? Because you're looking for passion, excitement. So it is important for a woman to learn to be those different shades. You know, there are days when you initiate it. There are days when he initiates it. It is important for you also to discuss what are the things that he likes, what are the grey shades.
Kifo mende.
Kabisa. Then the other one is this, make him feel important, especially in the places where he's good at. There is a part of a man's life where he is Superman. You know, he's good at doing that particular thing. And he will find accolades everywhere where he goes. It is important for you to be the chief cheerleader. Yes. Especially in that particular space, so that he doesn't have groupies. It is not good when the secretary respects him more than you respect him. Yes. Yeah. Make sure that if the man is doing something good, be there, cheer him along, and you will be amazed. You'll be able to keep him. That is how to love a man.
That's how to love a man.
Yes.
How to love a woman.
How to love a woman.
Yes.
Okay. These ones are not many, by the way.
So men are complicated.
Men are complicated.
Yeah. With the points that you've labored, then
men are complicated. Yes. Yeah. It is important also to say before I bridge, it is not so much about a man understanding a woman that builds a marriage. It is so much about a woman understanding a man that builds a marriage. Because when you get married, you're coming into the space of a man. So it is important for you to understand him. And once you understand him, he will feel comfortable enough now to get down to the place where you are and also to understand you. But he finds that you are challenging every decision that he's making. He feels as though you are an intruder into his space. So it is important for women to stop this thing. You know, men don't understand me. First and foremost, learn to understand him. You will have a lot more peace like that. Yeah. Okay, now to love a woman, of course it begins with self-love also. It is important for you as a man to learn how to treat yourself well. It is important for you as a man to learn how to respect yourself so that you don't disrespect a woman. Because for men, love is about respect. So create that particular respect and extend it. Let it be the base from which you are relating with your woman. Then the other thing is this. Tell a woman that you love her. Unfortunately, Adam spoiled it for us.
He did.
Yes. The first thing that Adam gave to Eve were words. And women are word magnets. I'm telling you, women love words. No matter how you say them, you know, if you tell her you love her and that is not enough, write a note, send an SMS, send an email, write a letter, you know. Just make sure that she hears it constantly. Yes. Because that is the way women are wired. They need to hear I love you as many times as possible. For me, I don't need to hear that I am loved. My wife, as long as she respects me, I'm cool.
It's not important.
No, it's not important. I just want, when I ask her to do something, she does it for me with a clean heart. I don't want those lovey-doveys. They are good sometimes. You can say, you know, I love you back. But that's not what we are looking for. We are looking for respect. But for them, they are looking for love.
Okay.
Yes. And then, so learn to tell her constantly that you love her. Yes. Then, don't lose your masculinity. You will be shocked, because of the romance era, there is just a problem with men. A man won't confront a woman when the woman is obviously wrong because he has been cultured to be too romantic. As a man, you need to understand that one of the things that makes you very attractive is that you are in charge. You need to make decisions and stick to them. Yes. As a man, once you make a decision regarding anything, don't be wavering. Don't allow yourself to become an emotional stooge and an emotional puppet. Don't allow a woman to manipulate you too much, because after a while she gets bored and she looks for a man who is a real man. You know, the kind of man who tells her sit down and she sits down. And if you're not very strong as a man, you will.
I don't think say such men are bullies.
No, that is what they say. Ask them; they will tell you the truth. They want a man who is strong. One woman told me, I like my men like coffee, black and strong. Yes, so it is important for you. Don't lose your masculinity. Then the other thing also women are very sensitive with, don't use their past against them. You are somebody's ex, I'm somebody's ex. Hey, most of the people who are watching me are somebody's ex. If you decide to marry or to get into a relationship with someone, don't dig too much into their past. It's not important. You know, you are not a historian, you are a lover. Yeah, this issue of, trying to figure out, oh, so you are dating so-and-so, is he better than me? Those things, leave them alone.
Yes.
If a woman has decided to be with you right now, and women are not very good at multitasking, love.
Yes.
They can multitask everything, but not love. If a woman decides to be with you, respect her decision to be with you, and start building something with her from where she is. If a woman has decided to be with you right now, and women are not very good at multitasking, love.
Yes.
They can multitask everything, but not love. If a woman decides to be with you, respect her decision to be with you, and start building something with her from where she is. If she decides to tell you many stories about her past, let them be stories. Yeah, but don't try to dig into the past, and don't use it against her.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is pay attention. Pay attention. A woman understands affection as attention. When a woman talks to you, don't be on the phone.
Like when
yes,
you keep it
and men, because they go to their space, this is what they do. In the days of our fathers, they'll take a newspaper. They have gone into their space. So you would think he's reading the newspaper, but he's reading nothing. Nowadays, men are on Facebook, but they're not on Facebook. If you ask them, what are you going through? They're just going through their phone, because they're in that particular space.
Yeah.
When a woman starts talking to you, it is important for you to exit that space and just listen to them. I've realized when my wife tries to get me into a conversation and I am not concentrating, she loses the morale of that conversation. KBC. Yeah. So it is important when she talks, just give her some time. Don't take a woman to an expensive restaurant, especially during Valentine's Day,
Yes.
and then you go ahead and you are on your phone, you're answering emails and you're sending SMSs, and you are in group chats and things like that. It is important for you to give her attention.
Yeah.
The other thing also, have emotional intelligence. One of the things that I have had to learn as a husband is that I should not take things personally when my wife is talking. Because, as I said, women process as they are talking. So if you end up being too sensitive in everything that she's saying, you will end up hurting yourself for no apparent reason. She's just trying to find answers. So listen to her, and most of the time the stories don't end in a day. So listen to her, then you notice the following day, she has started the story again. Just listen. Before long, you will realize what her problem is. And then now you can be able to meet her at that particular point. But when a woman is talking, don't take it too personally. It will not be good. Yeah. Then every day, for women, you have to, they have a refresh button. Yeah. So every day, make sure that every day is new for them. Learn to tell them that you love them every day in the morning. Make them feel special that particular day. Let them not feel as though they are going stale. Yeah, especially if they are moving through that process of being a wife and a mother, make sure that you notice that what she has changed, what she's dressing, Treat her with adoration, and she will love you. Don't complain about weight.
Go to the gym with her.
Yes, go to the gym with her. Yeah. Now to the questions.
The questions here though. So somebody says it's 4th, not yet 14th. Naona mmevalia red. What's your problem, Jaya? We're talking about love. Anyway, quick one here. Somebody's asking, this is, what is the main thing to get concerned about before you fall in love with someone? What should be your biggest consideration?
The biggest consideration is this. God created relationships first as a support for destiny.
Yes.
Yeah. That is why when he created Eve as a helper. It is important for you to know, to check out whether your destinies are compatible.
Yeah.
Are you going to be a part of the bedroom or the boardroom? Because after a while, people don't want to just be part of bedroom gymnastics. They want to be part of something. Are you building a legacy? So you ought to find out whether their destiny and your destiny are compatible. Yeah. That is the first and most important thing. Yeah. The other thing also, find out how somebody was brought up. As I said, most of these domestic issues are things that are inherited. Yeah. You are dealing with DNA patterns. You are dealing with upbringings. So it is important for you to investigate the person and find out how are they brought up. How do the men in their family treat women? How do the women in their family treat men? And if you notice that some of them, most of them are very single, then you need to find a lot of help before you say I do.
All right.
Yes.
There's a question here. I'll try to paraphrase it. I want to know if you have a girlfriend and you intend to get married to her, and along the line she gets pregnant from another guy, yet she claims total love to you, and she's really open that she can't get married to a guy who impregnated her.
Okay, let me say this. I did a live clip a few days ago when I was in Mombasa, and I explained this confusion, because this confusion is strange. When you're believing God for a spouse, you're dating, and you're wondering, is this the right person? Most often than not, something will show up to show you that this is not the right person. Trust you me, whatever you see when you're single is going to multiply when you get married. So if you're ready to be the father of children that you have not sired, go ahead and get married to her.
Well, the picture is clear for you. Somebody says, how long should one be in a relationship in order to marry or get married? And I think that question was asked by Kabasa.
I think it depends with the age. If you've started dating at the age of 19, 20 there, probably you're going through university, then you can date for a slightly longer period of time. But if you are above the age of 24 and 25, and you want to date for 7 years, I hope you'll get a degree after. Yeah, because it's a wastage of time. I'm serious. You know, how do you date someone for 7 years and 8 years? You know, what are you graduating into? You know, yes, and you know, this is a major issue. And I want to say this: there's a particular age where you need to respect your age. If you are 25 and above, most often than not, you already know what you want in a spouse. If you don't know, then I think you just need to check out your issues and just mature quickly.
Yeah.
By that time, me personally, I believe, it shouldn't go more than a year.
Okay.
Yeah, if somebody approaches you, they should tell you what they want. And if somebody approaches you and they're above the age of 25 and they are behaving as though they don't know what they want, it is because what they want from you, you are not the only one who can provide.
What? Okay.
Yes.
I'm living with a lady I'm intending to marry, but my love for her is deteriorating. Can our love survive?
No.
It's as plain as that.
Yeah, it's as plain as that. And I will tell you why. That's the reason why we tell people not to get into this come stay arrangement. Many years ago, they did a research in UK where they in a university, and they put the lovers who wanted to stay together in one particular hostel and the others who didn't want to stay together in separate hostels. And the hostel where people moved in without the marriage commitment, there was a lot more violence because there's no form of accountability here. And then the relationship broke up. If you try out marriage before you're officially married, you are in trouble. You're in trouble. The marriage institution should be respected for what it is. Allow somebody to go to elders, put them under checks and balances. If somebody shows up in your village and talks to the elders about you, they will respect you a lot more than when you go there and then you leave a toothpaste, then you leave a scarf, then you leave a bra, then other things, then before long you leave yourself there. And now you are there for a long period of time. You need to be serious with your life. Yeah, we need some source of accountability. Yes, that is why I tell young men. By the way, young men, toothbrushes are signs that the territory has been taken over. Be very careful about people who leave toothbrushes in your house.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
We need to wrap up because time is really running. But this one, there's this guy I like and he loves me, but the problem is that he's giving up on us because his friend loves me. Please help. I love him a lot.
His friend
is a guy who loves her,
yeah,
but the guy is losing interest in this woman because his friend also loves this woman. But the woman says he loves this man more than himself.
The other time we had a situation like that.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember? Eh? Yeah. And you know, allow your life to be very simple. If you discover that those particular games, and maybe the girl should divorce herself from this relationship completely, you know, and this other friend is not the friend of this other girl. Because if this one is hitting on the girl that this man loves, then I think unless you are from Mafisi Sako, the two of you need to be serious. You need to decide, how is your relationship and how is it structured, and just get rid of it.
All right.
Yeah.
I need to wind up, but Zipporah, just allow me to take this one. What happens when affection is bounded so strong and then parents become a stone block? Reasons of family poverty, and the lady feels disobeying her parents to marry her love. But the man says, no, your parents' blessings is important.
Is important, yeah. This is, I think, second time we are dealing with it. Give it time. If parents are resisting, just give it time. And then let the lady speak to somebody who the parents can hear. and just be honest, you know, because even most of the parents didn't start rich, you know. So give it time, then let somebody who's older, don't get into a place where you're answering back your parents. Get somebody who's older to deal with that particular issue. Yeah, but take time. Most of the time it works. Yeah. After a while, parents change their mind.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think it's time for us to wind up. But there's a meeting this Saturday?
Yeah, there's a meeting this Saturday at Clarion from 3 to 8, and we are talking about sex in all its shades. So whether you're single or married, you come. Charges are 1,000. You call, I can give the number?
Yes.
Yeah, 0799 18 1960, 0799 18 1961, or you can check details at Pastor Danson, whether in Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
This Saturday?
Yes.
Talking about sex in all its shades.
Talking about sex in all its shades. There's too much sex outside marriage and too little sex in marriage. So we are trying to collect it from outside and bring it back inside. Yeah.
That's how it puts it.
But enjoy your Valentine. Yeah. Go out, create some memories. Yeah. Make it count. Make it count.
Some of us will be working. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching Family Matters tonight. That's how we wind up this conversation. But of course, you can catch up with Pastor Danson on Twitter, on Facebook, as well as on his Instagram, and his meetings again at Clarion Hotel. That is this coming Saturday, and they're monthly, I believe. So,
yeah, they're monthly.
So obviously, you can catch up with him. But we do this every first Sunday of the month on this particular show that is Family Matters. So it's time for us to wind up. My name is John Jacob Kioria. But then I remember a line that if you're looking for a person to make you happy, or you're looking for a comedian or a clown, have yourself a no clown night.